Smoke-colored light, and the groom. I'm not positive. Was that?
Well,
tell me.
Originally it's sort of a prom date, and as we evolve in the script writing process, he's sort of archetype, I guess, or sort of an authoritative figure, patriarchal figure, I guess.
Okay.
So someone who has sort of an extraordinary amount of control over the female lead in the film.
Yeah. I don't want to dominate the questions, so if anyone wants to do questions, just jump in. But I was wondering, the old house and the barn seemed dream-like, but then you're back in the church, and she's gone while he's playing, which maybe that was dreamlike. So I wasn't sure which one it was.
The house, just to say simply, it represents her psyche, what's going on in her mind. So you see her meet, for lack of a better term, her alter egos that she's confronting perhaps for the last time. And the whole theme of the film is trauma, and specifically trauma that occurs to female. And so I consider it a feminist film. And so you're meeting all of her alter egos inside of the house. The only real, and the character's name is Alice, by the way. So the only real Alice that you really, the true Alice, is in the barn. Yes. So when she says it's showtime, she's preparing for something final. Now, introduce what that is. It could be physical death, or it could be birth, or it could be the shedding of sort of a psychological skin, or further fragmentation of her damaged psyche. I didn't want to really focus on the traumatic event itself. I wanted to focus on what actually occurs inside the mind of someone. And I have to disclose too that it is based on someone that is close to me. So the event, it's almost irrelevant. It's totally about what happens after the event, after the brain is fragmented, after the external event happens, what happens internally, and how do I represent that visually.
I have a question about the location of the house and all. Did you have to do a set, or did you just find this place?
I wish I could say yes, because we walked in and it was pretty impressive to begin with. We found this house. It was listed. Actually, the previous owners had attempted to burn it down or something along those lines. Anyway, it was very badly damaged, and it was listed as a pre-foreclosure closure. So I got a hold of the bank, and the house was pretty much as it is, even down to when we went to the barn. The portraits of Jesus, they were almost in the exact same spot. So there's, I wish I could take credit for all that. Some of it we did do, but most of it, the house was found that way.
Asymmetric surrealism is kind of like my favorite genre. And like a film like Antichrist, Lars von Trier, I could watch it a dozen times and still have 100 questions.
Yeah.
Question for you is, what are the roses? Explain the roses. What do they mean to you?
Well, at the beginning of the film, there's the white carnation. At the end of the film, there's the red roses. When she tears the red roses, she rips them to shreds. That could represent her resistance to what's about to happen. It's sort of a kind of a final fuck you to whatever's about to happen. Typically, and I've seen this done. It's not a new thing, but with flowers, I've seen it done several times. And white typically represents innocence. Red represents transformation. Normally in a negative way, and that's what I intended to do with flowers.
I was just curious, the
Yes.
cinematography was superb. What did you shoot it on? Was it digital or was it
It
film?
was red 4K.
Okay, all right.
I just want to say great job. I thought
Thank you.
the cinematography was brilliant, echoing Chris. I love the, in the end, when you talk about the truest self in terms of our ultimate ego, I think it speaks to the repression of so many people, is that we repress our true selves to take on all the roles that we do in life. And, I was part of the Chicago Really Short Film Festival. It's now no longer, but we did it for about 5 years. So we saw so many short films, and in such a short period of time, you just kept drawing us in further and further and further. I mean, you had us the entire way. And I like how you left it open-ended. To sort of take ownership ourselves and sort of conclude it the way that we did. So it was a great job.
I appreciate you saying that, and I also appreciate you bringing that point up, because originally we did have a more final ending. We cut it for that reason. The original ending was, the infantile Alice up in the top tier of the house actually ends up as, Alice in the omnibus walks across the yard from the barn. She actually, the original ending has her shooting her from the window. And I cut that out. On a surface level, it just kind of seemed a little ridiculous. Beyond that, I just didn't feel like it was true to my intentions of what I was trying to do in terms of just expressing, like I said before, the incident that may have occurred to this young lady is not important. It's what happens internally. And so by having her not physically die on film, it was more in line to what I wanted to accomplish. But thank you for those very nice. Thank
And
you.
the audio was fantastic.
Yes.
When I capture where they pull up in the truck, just the whole, just the whole ambience and it's really good.
I was really lucky. St. Louis is not a very big film town, so I was very lucky to find just everything just seemed to fall together perfectly. I found exactly the right people. And that was Max Barnett, who did the sound design, and Hal Krapinski was director of photography on that. Yeah. And they're all just great.
Yeah.
But they were in St. Louis, and that's where we met. And
Are you from St. Louis?
I am from St. Louis.
Yeah, I'm here. Like Alton, actually.
You're from St. Louis?
Alton,
Oh, Alton, Illinois?
Yeah.
Oh, cool. Is that where you live now?
No, I live in Naperville.
Okay, awesome. Very cool. Yes.
I wanted to hear you talk about religion. I thought that, it takes place, it's part of it at least in the church.
Yeah.
There's a hymn in the background, the Christ figure is rectified or turned from upside down to right side up, and I just wanted to hear your comments about the kind of religious claims that come in.
Well, we can start with the title. Small Colored Light was directly lifted from the Tibetan Book of the Dead. We'll start there. The Christian iconography that I used, and I use it in that way because I'm not endorsing any religion, I'm not, or anything like that. But what I am saying is that this Alice, she finds solace, I guess, in religion. So her turning the picture over when it was upside down is another way of her trying to escape. Or trying to hold herself together. And as she's walking out of the barn, you notice that it's upside down. So it was futile. And also in line with, it's interesting. This came from something that I witnessed, and I've known this young lady for a long time. So it's hard for me to answer you completely objectively about things like this because. I am not particularly religious, and I really wanted to stray away from making any really real pronouncements about religion, except for what I just told you, which is that she found solace and then, or at least tried to. It was kind of a last refuge.
I noticed one of your credits was Siddhartha.
Yes.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. He didn't want to be identified. He wanted to be identified.
Yeah, I was
as-
gonna ask, like, why
Yeah.
would you do
Yeah. He is a real person.
that? Yeah,
He just didn't want to be identified.
yeah, that's cool.
Yeah. Is that it?
Fantastic, thanks
Great
very
job.
much, yes.